Joining me now is Sahir Khan, Executive Vice President of the Institute of Fiscal Studies and Democracy and former Assistant Parliamentary Budget Officer. Thanks for being with me, Sahir.
My pleasure, Carolyn.
So what are you expecting in tomorrow's budget?
Well, I'm expecting a deficit a lot higher than what we had anyone forecast at the election, but the economy is a lot slower, and I think that's to be expected. But I'm also looking for a response. I'm looking for a response after our closest ally, weaponized trade and embarked on a very aggressive industrial policy. So what I'd like to see is a strategy for investment, to grow investment that's been kind of a laggard to the United States since the Harper years in 2014. So we need to close that gap and really create a made in Canada solution to growth and productivity and to make our economy as big as we can by reduction of interprovincial trade barriers. That's what I think we need to try to deal with an unprecedented risk that's opened up with our closest ally.
Your first note there was expect a deficit, and the office you once worked for, the parliamentary budget officer, the current officer, Jason Jakes, he said that the $70 billion, in his estimate, he thought it might be $70 billion, it created an outlook, an economic outlook that he said, quote, was unsustainable. What do you make of that estimate and whether or not we're on the right track?
Well, we have an estimate as well that includes the proposed measures and things that might come from the election platform that goes from $75 to $90 billion.
Wow.
So even higher because we include measures. And the PBO's estimate did not. I think the question of sustainability is one that you have to look over a long term. Our quick assessment is that, the books will remain largely sustainable. There will be a bumpy period, and debt to GDP will probably kind of bump along in the low 40s range for a while before it gets better. And really looking for the government to focus on creating an operating budget surplus and really focusing all their expenditure on capital. And it's important, Carolyn, because the last 10 years we saw a lot of transfers, and a transfer in social program, that dollar's worth a dollar in the economy, but a dollar spent on capital and investment could be worth up to $2. So we really need to see that bang for our buck going forward, and really a change in budgeting behavior over the last decade. And it might be the only way we can really control our own destiny in Canada.
For people watching at home today, what's this budget going to mean for the average household budget?
Well, I think in terms of dealing with anxiety and dealing with risk to employment, a growing economy means that people are employed. We are watching plants go south. We're watching people lose their jobs and layoffs going up. And we know there's slack in the economy. So what I'm looking for this budget to actually address that so that Canadians' anxiety is actually lowered. That's got to be number one. I think this is something that's really changed over the last 6 months. And I think Canadians, by some measures, are probably as anxious or more so than the pandemic or even the 2008 financial crisis. So we really need to kind of think about how do we come together as a country and start to invest in ourselves and bring some of that capital in the private sector that's been sitting on the sidelines, bringing it home to Canada and investing in the future of this country.
All right, thank you for that, Sahir. Sahir Khan, Executive Vice President of the Institute of Fiscal Studies and Democracy and former Assistant Parliamentary Budget Officer.